Bro, I was recording this commentary. I look over my other monitor, like 16 Project L videos spawn up, bro. I'm being bombarded by Project L gameplay. I'm like ducking under my desk in the fetal position for cover from all this footage. Like every person who makes YouTube videos in the FGC, I don't know, they had like Illuminati roundtable meeting in Santa Monica, and they tore that game apart, bro. They played like 12 hours a day. You know, every channel that makes videos besides mine, of course. And that's not me saying I should have been invited or anything crazy like that. I know my place, okay? I know my place. Small fish, big pond. I know my place. Anyways, I'm clicking around. I'm skipping through. Big League fan here, by the way. I've been playing since I was in middle school, so I just want to see what my favorite characters look like in a fighting game. And I'm going to tell you right now, that shit is the future, brother. Go to any fighting game channel you follow. It's probably on your homepage 50 times. Every video is on your homepage. Just click on one of them, skip through it, look at the gameplay. This shit looks phenomenal. And I'm talking about visually because gameplay-wise, I don't have a clue what's going on. I sat and listened to Ramola talk about the gameplay and all the mechanics and shit. Meanwhile, I'm like looking at the game itself. My jaw is dropped down, like loose, drool coming out of my mouth because I do not understand anything that is going on. It seemed very hard to keep up with, especially for a Street Fighter player. One of my friends told me this a long time ago when they said that it was going to be a tag fighter. He told me this game is going to be very hard for you to transition to as somebody who's only played Street Fighter, because I've never played a tag game, and that game looks, one, very movement heavy, and two, really fast. Also, I don't think I can actually use any of that gameplay that they got to use. I don't want to like get a DMCA strike or anything like that. So that's why you're watching Street Fighter 6, but we're only talking about a completely other game. We're looking at a legacy game right now. Street Fighter 6 is a legacy boomer game. I'm gonna be telling my kids about it, you know. But that's why I don't think I can use any of that. Anyways, after I had, you know, thoroughly investigated all of this footage and realized it's all the same footage, I went to the Riot Twitter and they started tweeting like crazy, bro. They're tweeting 2-3 tweets. You know, we waited like a year last time for an announcement. This time we get more news than we got in an entire year within like 15 minutes on a weekday. And at the end of the video, they're talking about like the duo system. We'll talk about that in a second. But at the end of the video, they said they're gonna have a play test at EVO, and I am gonna be at EVO. But there's also like 9,000 other people at EVO, so I don't actually know if I'm gonna get to play it, because my ass is like, I don't think I could stand in a line for like 3 hours, you know. Maybe if it's like Space Mountain and we're at Disney, I'll stand in a line for 3 hours, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna stand in a line for like a long time to play the play test. Like I'll just go home and wait for the beta for the next 2 years. But if I do get to play the play test, I'm gonna record it. I'm gonna see if they'll, you know, I have somebody with me, see if they can record it over my shoulder or something. That would be really cool. Something that a lot of people don't know about me is this game is like the reason why I started playing fighting games, because the first EVO that I watched was in 2019 when they said that they were developing a fighting game, that Riot was developing a fighting game, and that's back when I was playing League like I don't know, like 8 to 12 hours a day, like a ridiculous amount of League of Legends, and I hated it more than anything, but I was addicted. I could not stop playing that game. And then I watched EVO. It was really hype. I was like, I want to play a fighting game. And then Riot also said they were making one. I said, this is like the best time. Like, I want to get good at a fighting game so that I can understand it when Project L comes out. And then I started playing 5. I played for a while, and then I think around like March or April of 2020, they had that Valorant trailer, Project A, and the card game had come out like 90 days before that, so I thought they were on like a 90-day release schedule. Like the card game came out, 90 days later, like Valorant would come out, and then 90 days later, maybe the MMO or Project L would come out, which is very naive now that I think about it. But when I saw that, I started playing like a lot more because I thought we were getting closer to a beta or something. And then the more I played 5 and the more I started competing and like going places and meeting people, I was like, oh, like I really just like these games now. Like I just like to play fighting games now more than I like yelling at 4 other people on League all day. And then I just forgot about it because they stopped announcing things for Project L, and I got really deep into Street Fighter and I started making videos and stuff. And now that I played a lot of Street Fighter, I don't know how I feel about it being a tag game. Like I don't really understand tag games, and I haven't gotten deep into one, so I don't know if I'm gonna like it, right? I think it's very naive, or like it'd be very stupid of me to just say, oh, big, you know, new fighting game, Riot game, I like the IP, I like the characters, so obviously I'm going to like the game. I don't think that's true. I think I definitely just want to try it and see if I like the game instead of instead of building it up in my head like I did for many other games just to be disappointed. They are doing some really interesting stuff though. If you haven't watched anybody else's videos yet, there's like this duo system where you can play 2v1 or 2v2 or 1v1, however you want to play, meaning that like you and a friend can queue up and then you each control a character and you can be paired against somebody who's controlling both characters, or they're another 2v2 pair. It's really interesting. I think there'll be like gimmick tournaments for it. Like, you know how when games come out they do like team tournaments for a couple weeks and stuff like that? I think there'll be like gimmick tournaments like that, but I don't think that at majors and stuff, if they do run this game, which they will, I don't see why people wouldn't be running this game. I think it's going to be pretty big. You know, they didn't talk about now that I'm saying that, they didn't talk about a console release. So maybe I don't know how they're going to run it at certain tournaments, because PCs are kind of hard to come by at large scale events like that. So that's something that I didn't even think about until right now. But anyways, I think 1v1 will obviously be like the competitive standard, but having the option of playing 2v2 and like maybe, you know, there's one good player coaching somebody who's like new, so they can queue up together and like play together. I think that's actually really interesting. I think it also gets league players in a more comfortable environment where they have somebody else to, you know, work with or blame. It's a hard transition to go from a game that's 5v5 to 1v1. So having like a little game mode where you can have a teammate is a little bit more valuable than you might think. I talked about the characters earlier, but like visually, the character like roster of that game though is going to be super interesting, because there's like 140 characters in League right now, maybe 150. There's a lot of champions in League right now, and I think the only 3 that they got to playtest were, who was it? It was Ari, Darius, and Echo. And then they said they got to play one more, but they couldn't disclose who it was. I think it's either Jinx, Katarina, or Alawi, because they showed Alawi in development before, but they didn't show like too much of her because she was still in development. They showed Jinx in development as well, and they showed Katarina very early. Like somebody had taken a screenshot of a developer's screen during like one of those reveal videos. It was like, I think it was Katarina like fighting Darius and Jinx or something like that. I think Riven will be in the game for sure. She's like developed. There's a dev vlog post from a Riot developer talking about how they based her off of like Marth and like some other fighting game characters. She's like made as a fighting game character in League. And I made a long time ago, I made a video about that, how I thought Riven was like a shoe-in to be in the game, and I posted it on r/Project L, and people were not happy with me. They're like, yeah, no shit, she'll be in the game. I was like, what? Who are you to tell me? You like, bro, I hate Reddit so much. Like people acting like they know definitively what's going to be in a game that is 6 years away. That's the other thing, is like, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to compete in this game when it comes out, bro. Like, we're still in alpha phase, like playtesting phase. I'm going to be married, kids, living on a farm or some shit, retired, 65 years old by the time this game comes out. You know what? I'll be retired by then, so I have more free time. I will be competing. I'm so excited, though. I'm glad that all of my favorite, like, creators and players got to playtest the game and then talk about it unapologetically. Like, not have to like pull punches, but give an honest review of what they've seen and how they feel about the game. And I think they did choose like the best group of people to play test it. Like they've got a good mix of high level players and like people who just make content about games, or people who are somewhere in between, and people who are just very knowledgeable about fighting games. But yeah, that's all I had today. I'm stuck here playing this legacy boomer game, Street Fighter 6, and all my favorite people are playing the future. They're playing the new game. If you enjoy these videos where I just ramble to my computer and talk to myself incoherently, please consider subscribing. Getting close to 10,000. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you again very soon.